Hello everyone and welcome to my channel. My name is Crown and today we are going to have some more stories that I hope that you will enjoy. But before we start, it will be so much appreciated if you would subscribe to the channel, like the video if you enjoyed it, and maybe leave a comment down below. These simple clicks would mean a lot to the future of this channel and really reward the effort that I put in every day. And now, without further ado, let's go! First story. You want to steal my dessert? How about a mouse full of ink to go with it? I was working at a fairly small meat packing plant with about 45 employees. The butchering was done in another part of the plant. We would clean, process, sort, and package the meat before shipping it out to different retailers around the area. We had a lunch/break room where everyone would leave their lunch boxes while we were out working on the floor. For the most part, the break room was empty most of the day, except during our 30-minute lunch or our 2 breaks that we were allotted each day. The door to the break room was basically situated behind all the production lines, so the door was in sight while we worked. But nobody had a reason to keep an eye on it. As it turns out, people began to notice that their dessert would be missing out of their lunches. Someone would remember putting cookies in their lunch or stopping and buying a candy bar, and it would be gone by the time lunch or the last break would come around. Nobody really knew how long it had been going on until we all started talking. Even once we all figured it out it was happening, it continued to happen with 2 or 3 people's lunches a day. We would try and watch the door to the break room, but there really wasn't a way to track people going in and out. We would jokingly accuse each other, but never could figure it out. Until one day, someone came up with a brilliant plan. Being how we worked in a meat packing plant, we used an edible ink that was used to stamp different grades of meat. We also had syringes used for injecting different marinades or brines into different products. 4 or 5 of us all bought Hostess ding-dongs to work in our lunch boxes. If you don't know what a ding-dong is, they are a dark brown chocolate cupcake with a cream center, perfect for extracting a little bitty revenge. We use a syringe to suck out as much of the cream fill as possible through the packaging and inject them full of the thick blue ink. It left a hole in the package, but was otherwise unnoticeable. We then put them in our lunches and waited. It only took a few hours when suddenly the processing line erupted in laughter. Our plant manager, who was the only one in the building who wore a tie and a white dress shirt, came running out of the break room and towards his office. Not only was his lips and chin covered in the blue ink, but it had run down the front of his shirt and was even on his hands. He disappeared into his office and we didn't see him for the rest of the day. I am not sure what the man had to bathe in, but the next day you could barely see it on his lips. We were told by his secretary, as he didn't show his face back out on the production floor for several days. In any case, our desserts and candy stopped disappearing from our lunches, and all was good in the world again. Next story. HOA did not like our pushes, so we screwed them out of potentially millions. I once lived in a neighborhood where the stuck-up Karen of a president kept leaving us warnings that we needed to tear out the flowering bushes in our front garden plot because they weren't HOA approved. They were witch hazel and sedum, and I suspect the lady was more jealous that our yard stayed colorful through autumn, while most of the houses around us looked bare once it got cooled out. We would get a letter every now and then about how the bushes had to be torn out and replaced with approved shrubbery. After the second letter they sent us a notice that we were being fined for the bushes remaining. After the 4th such complaint, I finally talked to a lawyer friend of mine who set up a court hearing. I went over the HOA rules and charters to see what we were dealing with. Turned out that not only did the HOA have absolutely no say over what residents in the area could plant on their own property, but since our house and the lot, it was built on a part of the original neighborhood before the land around it was developed and the HOA was established, We were grandfathered in against paying any of their fees, and they owed us about 20 years of back pay. I understand other residents who lived in the older houses in the area also looked into whether or not they were obligated to pay fees. Also saw a lot more people planting all sorts of exotic looking flowers, trees and bushes after that. And all because Karen did not like the bushes. Next story. Ma'am, I'm a soldier, not a plumber. This is my first post, so please be nice. Background. Title says it. I'm a soldier in the German Navy. Our uniform is straight dark blue. Most of the plumbers working in Germany also have blue working clothes. It was in the winter 2019 around December, so I also was wearing my blue navy jacket due to coldness. Background. Well, the title says it. I'm a soldier in the German Navy. Our uniform is straight dark blue, and most of the plumbers working in Germany also have blue working clothes. It was in the winter of 2019 around December, so I also was wearing my blue navy jacket due to the cold. After 2 weeks spent on the sea, I was glad to head home by train. I didn't change my uniform to civilian clothes because as a German soldier, you can use the train for free if you wear your uniform. At the station, I had to wait about an hour for the next train to arrive, so I thought I would use the bathroom. Oh God, if I had known. The bathroom is flooded. You have to fix it. Karen yells at me. Excuse me, ma'am? Fix it. I think you've mistaken me. I'm not working here. Yes, you do. You have working clothes on. So go and fix it. Otherwise, I'll report you. Ma'am, I'm a soldier, not a plumber. Look at my jacket and what does it say? I point to my jacket, which stands for German Navy. And she starts to rage. You lazy piece of crap. Go and do your job. I pay taxes for your money. Well, that's right, but you're mistaken. I pull out my military ID. This is military ID. Look, I'm a soldier. She cursed at me really well. At this point, a station employee notices what's happening and comes over. Is there a problem? Yes, the bathroom is flooded and he... She grabs me on my jacket, refuses to do his work he's supposed to do. Ma'am, I'm afraid to say again, but I am not a plumber. Soldier for the German Navy. This is what I am. And do not touch me again, okay? I got rid of her grab. Yeah, it is a uniform from the Navy. The employee confirms. Suddenly, she started to scream and throw herself to the ground. Abuse! He slapped me in the face! And she kept screaming and got the police attention. Ma'am, what happened? He slapped me in the face. It is not true, he didn't. The employee denies. Yes, he did. You are covering for your co-worker, you liar. I am not his co-worker. He tries to tell her. Then I say I really did not slap her. She grabbed my jacket, and I just got close due to her grab, then she started screaming. At this point, she kept discussing this with one police officer, while I showed my ID to the other officer. Ma'am, he's right, he's not a plumber. He's a soldier, and also our office has evidence that he did not slap you. It's all on camera. I think we should have a closer talk in the office. Sorry, sir, for all the trouble. Have a safe trip. The other officer tells me. Thank you. The police took her to the office and I've never heard from her again, gladly. The employee and I just laughed it off and he got me a coffee and we chatted a bit till I jumped on my train. Oh boy, what a Karen. Next story. My entitled aunt accused me of stealing her daughter's medical school admission slot. Hi, I'm a 28-year-old female. I posted before regarding my dad's entitled mother. Today I'm going to rant about my absurd entitled aunt. She's my mom's older sister. My mom is the youngest in her family and being an accidental child, she has huge age differences between her and her other 3 siblings. Her oldest brother is 13 years older than her, and her sister, the entitled aunt, is 9 years older than her. And she has one more brother who is 8 years older than her. The entitled aunt has been a bit mean to my mom since she was a child. often snitching to grandma about her, belittling her looks and making sure she got a thrashing whenever possible. I don't think she was entirely evil because I do have memories where she doted on me and my brother, but at some point she started becoming entitled again. Because of the age difference, there is a huge difference of age between me and her older two children, a son who is 12 years older than me, and a daughter 8 years older than me. Her youngest, a boy, is a year younger than me because he, like my mom, was an accidental baby. We still kind of get along and he is tolerable, not like my entitled aunt, or at least so to me and to my family. My mom was quite lonely and often consulted the entitled aunt for advice regarding how to handle things because she was mentally depressed. Thanks to dad, mom, family, and some of her friends were busy competing and pulling her even more down. It didn't help that I was becoming quite difficult to handle as I was being bullied in school and had started lashing out, not knowing how to handle things. Anyways, on to the story. Being bullied and isolated and betrayed numerous times, let's just say I became quite warped and introverted. My aunt pointed to my mom that since I was doing badly at school and such a troublemaker, she would worry for my future. Since I was free, I always wanted to go to medical school. She would tell me sweetly that I would achieve it, but then give my mom snide remarks on how I was clueless on life. Jokes on her, not only did I get into mid-school, I have completed my specialization residency and currently working in my alma mater. When her daughter was in high school, the entitled aunt forced her to get into mid-school and become a school topper to rub it in my mom's face. But my cousin didn't make it and she paid an expensive college tuition for a different college course. During my last year of high school, I studied my butt off and was accepted to medical school in Delhi, India. And at that time my dad was aboard and I had studied in an IB school. But since I was unable to write the entrance exam for medical school for India, I worked hard to get accepted as a government nominee. Since my dad had been deputed by the Indian Navy, I achieved a nominee seat although it took 2 months for the final result and I joined a month late, but I was ecstatic as I had achieved my dream. I posted on Facebook about being accepted, and now this was where all hell broke loose. One of my cousins saw my post and told their parents, and my mom got an earful from my entitled aunt. My mom put the call on speaker so my dad can also help handle her. "Why didn't you tell me she got in?" "Oh hey, what a pleasure. What are you talking about?" "Don't play. It's OP. How did she get into mid-school?" "Oh, how do you know?" "We were planning to tell everyone tomorrow after we completed OP's admission work." "She posted on Facebook. I thought there were issues with her admission." "Oh, OP's admission actually had nothing to do with it, so she has her admission approved." My mom is a real pacifist. "She did not work hard for it. How could she get admission?" "Hey, you said it would be nice if she got in because it would be nice to have our first female doctor. Why are you behaving like this?" "That is my daughter's admission that you stole. Your daughter stole my daughter's future." And all three of us were just stunned. I had come to accept my entitled aunt had become some sort of Karen at some point in my life, but this? Wow. My dad was fuming on the other hand, so he took the phone. "Hey, my daughter worked hard for this. She stayed up sleepless nights and took extra classes to achieve this. She deserved this more than anyone. And how the hell did she steal your daughter's so-called admission? I mean, there is 8 years difference between them. My daughter was still in elementary school when your daughter was applying for college. Plus your daughter was applying for Bangalore, while mine applied in Delhi. If you cannot be happy for my daughter's happiness, you do not deserve to be her aunt." "Your daughter is never gonna make it through mid-school. After all, that fortune teller told me that she would run away and marry some bum before she turned 19. That gleeful snide in her voice made me cringe. I cleared my voice to ask how she thinks I will find a guy to run away with when I'm going to an all-girls medical school in Delhi. But my dad stopped me. My daughter is stronger than you think. My dad cut the call and ranted about her while my mom cried. The entitled aunt continued to rant to other family members and friends that I stole her daughter's future and my admission was a scam. I was least bothered because by now, I had almost no contact with all my relatives and my maternal grandparents supported me. Aunt kept taking every chance to belittle and humiliate me and grew upset as I ignored her and continued working hard. She visited Delhi when I was nearly completing my third-year mid-school exams. She hated that my professors liked me and I had made friends who genuinely cared about me. I had the last laugh. I completed medical school without wasting time, completed my specialization, and now working back in my alma mater. Now she pesters my mom about my marriage because I told her to hug a landmine and pot out of my life. My entitled aunt is crazy, and I don't know if she will ever be the kind aunt I once remembered to be. And now we have reached the end of today's stories. Thank you for watching and see you next time.